Yes, Mitra.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the WomenAscension Empowered by Empower webinar, enhancing educational opportunities in promoting gender equality in Afghanistan and Pakistan. I am Fauzia Frutan, one of the moderators from the community outreach team, and I am excited to start this important event with my colleague Ms. Noor. Okay, let's start by understanding what WomenAscension is all about. WomenAscension is a global non-profit organization dedicated to empowering women from all backgrounds. We are passionate about making a difference in the lives of women around the world. Currently, WomenAscension is targeting 15 SDGs out of 17 SDGs. Though scholarships, vocational trainings, and mentorship programs, we cultivate leadership and business skills in women worldwide. By collaborating with organizations and leveraging expertise, we aim to create opportunities for women to thrive and give back to their communities. Our members embody the spirit of service, striving to provide the support they once sought in their own journeys. We are here today because we want to tackle some big issues like education and gender equality, especially in Afghanistan and Pakistan. You know that these are places where lots of people are working hard to make things better, and we want to support them. Our community outreach team is a group of people who work directly with communities to make positive changes happen. This webinar is just one of the ways we are trying to help out. Now let's talk about why we are here today. You know that this webinar is a chance, really a great chance for us to hear from experts and activists who are working on these issues every day, every time. We will be talking about how to make sure everyone, regardless of gender, has access to education and opportunity. Okay, everyone, let me introduce our honorable speakers. Maheen Amjad, the founder and the president of WomenAscension, who has been leading the way in our mission for empowerment. And the second one, Ms. Mitra Hussaini, human rights activist and the founder of Green Movement Organization, and as well as Ms. Areej Mahmood, who knows a lot about how education and innovation can go hand in hand, as she is leading STEAM policy unit at PAMS. Okay, let's get started and make the most of today's opportunity to create positive changes. Thank you all for being here. And we should start from our first speaker, Ms. Mitra Shiva Hussaini. Okay, before they starting, we should have a short biography of Ms. Mitra Hussaini. The recent evacuee from Afghanistan escaped the Taliban regime and settled in Australia 2 years ago. She was a human and a women's rights activist back in her country and a former United Nations employee. From the refugee in Pakistan, where society considered education girls as a waste of money, which caused her a very hard time while studying, along with losing her parents in a young age, to being a successful inspiration in many areas. Mitra believes that education is a key to success and a very strong weapon to defend yourself in a patriarchal society. Amongst her many achievements, Mitra founded the Youth Green Movement organization, where she organized conferences and workshops and provided special sessions for girls to motivate them to dream big and fight back against the patriarchal society to convert their dreams into reality. Mitra graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Politics, Philosophy, and Economics, and a minor in Development Studies. She worked with the World Bank and United Nations Human Settlements Program and currently with the NSW state government of Australia. Okay, Ms. Mitra Hussaini, the floor is yours. Please go ahead and share your insights with us, please.
Thank you very much, Fauzia, for the introduction. And I'm truly honored to be here today and speaking with your live audience and in such an important topic that is very important, especially for Afghanistan nowadays. And of course, Pakistan. Pakistan, at least education is available for girls, but in Afghanistan, that's not even possible. It's the only country in the world that girls are not allowed to go to get education, um, which is very, very frustrating. Every single day for me that I am like you're having the wing, but you cannot fly, and everybody has tightened, and everybody just holding you. It says that because of your gender, nothing, there is no other reason, just because of your gender you are not allowed to get education, and you have to be fallen behind for everything because you are a girl or a woman. This is completely a crime. It should not be only Afghanistan. It's a crime. It should be internationally recognized. And I don't know why the other countries are just right now is so quiet and they're not speaking about it. Probably because of the war happening in other part of the world, but education is very important. And I think women like you, especially Maheen, who is a great powerful woman who started this organization, it's amazing, should definitely do something, raise the voice of Afghan women, and take it to another level, to the powerful people, of course, because we as a normal people, we try to do something, but this is the hint of powerful people. And by powerful, I mean, you understand what I'm talking about. So we need to raise the voice of Afghan women to the next level. Why there is, if the Taliban are claiming that there is no such a budget for girls to open the school, girls for school, why there is a budget for boys, for men, why they are having that facility, or there is a money or financially they can get supported, but not women. This is a big question. This is the only excuse. Maybe they are having that excuse to give to the people. Believe me, if you are going to get an answer from Taliban, you're not going to get an answer from Taliban, because they are the most uneducated people on the earth. They sometimes even, like, there were some interviewers went to a Talib. He was working in a high position. He even didn't recognize the mic. He was asking, what is this? What is this? And the interviewer had to explain, this is a mic. So we're not gonna get anything out of these people, out of these uneducated people who spent their life in a village in mountains in the last 20 years. So my suggestion and my proposal for women organization is, please raise Afghan women voice to the next level, to international court, to international communities. Where is this human rights? Where is this UN Women? UN Women is just writing posts in their page. UN Women is doing a very, very tiny, simple programs. They're getting a big budget for that. Where are you? What are you doing? This is how you can help women. That it's almost 3 years, and the Afghan women are like, they're just shattered. Their life is shattered. They're just put in a corner of house just to go and just be there. Don't show up in a public area. The parks are closed for you. Gym is not for you. Outside in a public is not for you. You have to cover yourself. You have to do this. Why? What is wrong with me to cover myself and hide myself? What is wrong with me? Where is my human rights? These things are like, and I am seriously very frustrated with the work that international organizations sometimes doing, especially UN Women, which we really count on you. UN, we count on you because you're an international organization and you can do a lot. But I don't know why you're not doing. Maybe the superpower is just not giving you that support, or they're not, I don't know. It's honestly speaking, when I am speaking about the Afghan women and thinking about it, that it's getting worse every day and nobody's talking about it. I just can't speak about it. I'm losing words. I'm really getting nervous. I'm like, what's happening about what's going to happen to the life of like millions of girls there? In the last 20 years, we had a lot of achievements. There are so many girls, women, they were working, they were feeding their family, they became very powerful, they got international scholarships, they have very, let's say, like well educated, they have quality education. They can do way, way better than men. But why they can't go to school? Because of the bunch of uneducated people. And also, we should not forget that Taliban are relying on others' fund. And whoever is funding, I think we know who is funding. Whoever is funding, we need to reach to them. Hey, when you handed Afghanistan over to Taliban, what was the agreement between you two? Seriously, this is not a shame. You call yourself like the world powerful country, and you just stopping Afghan women to go to school. That's not a shame for you. That's how you're calling yourself a powerful country. So this we can't get anything out of Taliban, and I am suggesting for organized women organizations, please raise it to the next level. We need to push, and otherwise things cannot change. Thank you. If you have any question, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mitra Hussaini. Actually, we really feel what you are saying. You know that all the things that you mentioned about Afghanistan, you know that they are really important to know, everyone to know. Okay, and we have a question. First, as a youth activist, what inspired you to focus on enhancing educational opportunities and promoting gender equality in Afghanistan?
Thank you. Having a first-hand experience, I mean, is like I myself experienced a lot of discriminatory type of, like that scenario, the stereotype of thing, like girls, why would they get education and stuff? And I had a hard time to get education in a male-dominated society, which is called patriarchal society. So for me, I thought the only way to be independent and powerful is getting education. You know why? Because education is sort of a tool. It gives you a power that nobody can take away from you. So this power is something that you own it. And even if you come in, they're forced to get it, they can't get it out of you, right? So that's something, once you are in the level that you understand things, then in that moment, nobody can stop you. Because like you already have that power in you, you're an educated person. And then these stereotypes around you cannot stop you to go and get your whatever you aim for, or any achievement you want. So that was my first priority at the beginning. Once I got education, and that's when I was like, hell no, I am going to do something for Afghan women, and in particular for Afghan youth, young adults, because in Afghanistan, when I studied a scholarship, I realized that education system is very old. We need quality education. Coming back to Afghanistan, I was like, I have to do something for these people. And I felt that is a sort of like a responsibility for me as an individual, as a citizen. It was like, let's take it to another level. Let's do some capacity building. First of all, we can start from a small thing. It's not a, it's, you know, it's not important that you have to think, oh, I have to bring a big change. Always the big change, it starts from a small change. You need to play your role. Once you start playing your role, and then there are some people around you that you will be a sort of an example for them. You're like, oh, if she is she's a powerful lady, she can do this. I think I can also do that. Let me try. Let me just, do that. There are some sort of people around you that they are sort of relaxed type of people, like they're like, actually, I am sort of, maybe I can't do this. Maybe they have that leadership, they have that capacity, but all they need is like, they need you there to push them, to give them those words, those powerful words, those encouraging words, to make them understand their value, their existence in the society. When they understand that, then you cannot stop them from getting their success, or they will just go for having achievements. Some people need a little bit of push, and that's why we're having special sessions with the girls. Or like, okay, what qualities do you have? What's your education level? What can you do? And then at the end, when you understand, okay, these all great qualities, these leadership skills, these, confidence. And then I'm like, wait a minute, what is stopping you doing these all things? What stops you, And then they were like, oh, this society and things like that. I was like, who is giving importance to what other people think? What makes you happy? You have this ability and you have this capacity, and you're doing a great job. You're thinking to do something for the community. Go for it. Do you need help? Go knock the doors. Knock the doors means knock the other person and say, tap in the shoulder, say, hey, I need help with this. I have this great idea. Can you come and join with me? Can we do this? And then once that person say no, the next person will not say no. You just keep going. Achieving success in your life, to be someone, to do something, it's not going to come that easy. You may have many failures, but the strong person, the powerful person, the great person is the person who just keep going. If you keep knocking the door, it's impossible they won't open the door. This is universe. This is God. It's always God. God is like merciful. He is there. If you knock the door, if you're doing great, he will never ignore it. So as a woman, remember, you're a powerful person. You're a powerful person than anybody. Then try to trust yourself. Try to have the lot, like most of the girls that unfortunately, I was talking at university students, we're going to graduate and then get married, or they were just thinking about this, like luxury lifestyle, to go and have a shopping in this shopping center. Seriously, we women now, especially in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, should we really think about that, or we have to think bigger than that? Look at the world. Where are we going? How can the other countries like get so successful and we are so backward? Why? What is the difference? That's the difference. We're dreaming very small. Dream big and big place, and nobody can stop you. Always one important thing. If there are 100 doors closed for you, if you are thinking, believe me, one door is always open. And to get to that door, you need to work for it. You need to work to get to that open door. That door is open for you, but it takes time for you. You need to keep knocking. You have to be consistent. Consistency is the key. Curiosity is the key. Thank you. Back to you, Fauzi.
Yes, thank you, Mitra, for sharing. Okay, we have 2 more questions as well. What initiatives or projects have been involved into improve access to education for Afghanistan, for girls in Afghanistan, and how do we engage with local communities to raise awareness about the importance of girls' education, mostly in Afghanistan, please?
Personally, me?
Yeah.
I think there are, sometimes you say a direct effect and there is an indirect effect. From our relatives, let's say the people that I know, like, okay, girls were not dreaming big, and I said no to that stereotype of thing. When I actually made it, now being is like, so of course others are looking at you, and now the girls are studying everywhere. Now they are in every countries, they are getting education. That means I made it to that level to encourage others. With the local people, I think important thing is that I did a women empowerment leadership. So in the leadership, that was a project funded by the university a couple of years ago. It was at the workshop. It's important not to talk about the culture strongly, because we have been grown up in that conservative country and culture. If you directly is attacking the culture and the religion or whatever practices they are doing, that's not going to work. Giving an example that relates to the culture, which is a good example that makes it, what I can say, applicable in that area. Starting giving an example, we collected the videos and talks from the women parliament members, and we had shown them so many other videos and people that the projects they did and how capable women are, and how they themselves, it's the most important thing is like, it's never late. It's never late to get education. It's never late to be powerful. So if you are thinking this is late for me to get education, you start a small business. Try to be independent. Independent you can be, of course, with education, but there are times that you can be independent opening a small business. It's not always about big business. You just start a small and then build it and build it and build it. I always prefer in the rural areas, especially in regional areas, try to be very try not to talk like very harsh. Be very soft and give very good examples. We have great examples from Quran that saying empower women. What was like the other bit of it? Was the bit of question, and there was another bit as well, I guess. Fauzia, I think there were like two.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Masuma, please, if you have any question.
Okay, thank you everyone. Hello, I hope that everybody is doing well. First of all, I have to say, Mitra, Hussaini, it was a great speech, and everybody in Afghanistan, especially girls, need to hear this. And of course, everything that you said was true, and we believe that if we have gender equality, we can improve our country. So my question is that as an Afghan girl, if you were in Afghanistan, what would you do for your sisters if you were educated, and how you could empower them even if you were in Afghanistan, and how you could inspire them?
That's a very good question, because it's and also it's very in Afghanistan, to be honest, we need to be powerful and also make sense. Like we need to stay alive to do something for the people, right? Considering the circumstances in Afghanistan, the situation in Afghanistan, it is very difficult. The first thing I would do is raising this issue directly with the international organizations, and we had to collect many women there that we do have, and they are really powerful. They're really good and they're very committed. This group of people, we need to have like a couple of we must get videos. We must get it's very important to have proofs. We need to keep pushing these people to do something for Afghan women. Like, what is happening? Why they are doing this? The other thing for me is like I would definitely create a place, and I had to teach some people. The other thing, which like it was anything, English or any other skills, computer skills or whatever. But it's, to be honest, it's very risky. It's very risky. But the other thing which I am actually
yes, thank you. Of course, it would be the best thing that we do. Especially I myself started at the age of 15 to do this for my sisters, to teach them English, and sometimes yes, also it was something that we did for orphan people. We taught them English and also mathematics for free. And sometimes we get unmotivated. We are not inspired to continue our way because we see that the situation is getting worse. And of course, we do our best to continue and to, for example, teach hundreds of students. But sometimes when we want to help them again, the centers become closed, or everything that we do, it doesn't have any result, and sometimes we become unmotivated and we cannot continue our way. So in this situation, what is your suggestions for your sisters who are in Afghanistan, especially me, to keep our way and to help other students?
Thank you, Masuma. It's completely understandable, because I truly understand what you're going through right now. I've been in Afghanistan for 1 week when the Taliban took over, and I can't describe how horrified I was. I was completely shattered, and I was like, there's no future, and I am done. I am done with my life. That's how I was feeling. But let me tell you one thing. This is politics. So politics is just very dirty, and you don't understand. It's like a potato. You can't understand like the face. So currently, where are these countries that are distracting the world? They are busy with Palestine and Israel and with the other countries. There's a fight between Russia and Ukraine. So once they are, like slow down in there, and then they will get back to Afghanistan. That's how they're playing. They're playing with our lives. They don't understand that this is billions of life is just, like being trapped into a trash here. They don't care about that. All they care is about their own political play. Don't lose hope. Stay like that. Keep studying English, and because that's unfortunately international language, and that's always try to motivate others. Try to apply scholarships. There are so many scholarships, and then don't worry, Afghanistan will not remain the same. We are gonna see light again. If it is dark, it's not always staying dark like that. Believe me. And strong people like you will raise their voice, and you keep raising your voice, and the world will hear us one day. And always have faith in God. He will help us, obviously.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Masma. You're our pride, and I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. You too.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much, Masuma, for that query, and thank you so much, Ms. Mitra, for answering that query and guiding the participants all the way. We will move on to our next speaker, who will be speaking in the context of educational opportunities vis-a-vis gender equality in Pakistan. And after, at the end of the session, we can take multiple question and answers, right? So the speaker from Pakistan is Miss Areej. I hope I'm audible. So, Ms. Areej Mahmood has been working in public schools in Pakistan for nearly 5 years, and she initially served as the consultant on an FCDO project and is now providing technical assistance for the implementation of STEAM program, that is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics Pakistan program. This gender transformative initiatives aims to promote hands-on and interdisciplinary learning in government schools across Pakistan. Ms. Areej Mahmood, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. I'm just going to share a presentation. So whenever you can see it, let me know. Can you see it? Can anyone see it? Okay, great. So you've already told everyone a bit about what I've already done. And I'll talk more about it during the presentation. And the way I'm gonna go about this is that I will first talk about the context and see where the current situation is, what it's like for girls in Pakistan right now. And then we'll discuss the various barriers that are preventing girls from getting educated. And then while talking about these barriers, I would be talking about possible interventions that can be done that would be helpful to promote gender equality and enhance educational opportunities for girls. And hopefully this will be helpful for other countries, people who are listening in from different countries. And if they feel that this sort of problem is something that they face in their own countries, they can sort of adopt or kind of mold these interventions into something that works for them. So to set the scene, first we have here the literacy rates in Pakistan. As you can see, straight from here, we can see that 70% male literacy, 49% female literacy. And as we go on, we'll see why this is. In Pakistan, geographical location plays an important part when it comes to education, and especially female education in Pakistan. So across our 4 provinces, as you can see, there are very visible disparities in literacy rates. So we can see that Punjab has the highest literacy. It's about 64%, followed by Sindh. Just wait a second, there's this pop-up on my screen. Okay, yes, followed by Sindh, which is 58%, KPK, which is 53%, and then Balochistan, which is 46%. And we see that parallel, the female literacy is also following a similar trend, right? In Punjab, it's 57%, followed by Sindh 47, KP 35%, and then Balochistan, which is around 29%. And there are a lot of political factors that come into play here, why there are so many discrepancies in the provinces. And here I'd also like to mention that in Pakistan, education is a devolved subject, which means that all the provinces have their own ministries who make their own decisions, have their own budget. Moving on, then we also have another split, which is the rural-urban split. Before I talk about that, I just want to bring your attention to the fact that these figures are from the Pakistan Social and Living Standards Measurement Survey, which was conducted in 2019 to 20. Following that, we've had COVID, and then in 2022, we had floods, due to which access to education was disrupted for around 3.5 million students, majority of which being girls. So whatever you see here, whatever numbers you're seeing, take them with a pinch of salt. Now, let's come back to the rural-urban split. So similarly, we see drastic differences in literacy in rural areas and urban areas. Again, obviously, urban areas are more developed, there are more schools there, and naturally literacy is more. But what we learned from all of this, while understanding the geographical differences in education literacy, it's important because policymakers and civil society organizations or international donors should know which areas, in which areas women are most vulnerable, so that they can target their interventions accordingly. Again, setting some more context, out of our 22 million out of school children in Pakistan, 12 million are girls. And all these reasons will, before that. So now, before we move on to the barriers and the interventions, let's look at some of the reasons that we have here for dropping out that the parents of students have given. One second. Sorry about that. Anyway, so the first reason that we have here is that parents and elders did not allow. So we know that parents and elders have a big role in Pakistani society, the head of the family being the male. It's a patriarchal society, goes without saying. So percentage of girls for that is 19% did not go to school because their parents or their elders did not allow. And then we have had to help at home. Again, girls are constricted, and we'll talk about it too. Working at home, staying at home, 15% of girls as compared to 4% of boys. Too expensive for both, but again, was felt more when it came to girls. Too far away, 8% for girls, just 3% for boys. Education, not helpful. Again, we see that there's more percentage for parents who have daughters who feel this, as opposed to those when sending their boys. So basically, and all the things that I just talked about will come in the barriers that I'm now going to discuss. So I broadly divided them into these social, cultural, economic, and institutional factors. But I do want to say here that all these are interrelated. There's going to be overlap between these factors, as there is. The first thing that we're going to talk about are the socio-cultural factors. So as far as socio-cultural factors are concerned in Pakistan, we can safely say that they play quite a prominent role when it comes to gender disparities in education in Pakistan. And for the sake of this presentation, I'm going to limit myself to some major socio-cultural factors. So the first one being gender stereotypes. So as far as these factors are concerned, women, as I already talked about, are confined to traditional gender roles and cultural norms that prioritize their domestic responsibilities, and basically the role as a caregiver is given preference, overseeing them as a breadwinner. And even if not that, it's generally given preference over their education. And education, the reason being that mostly education is related to, unfortunately, in a capitalistic society, it's seen as a means for earning money. And I'll talk more about that as well. So then along the same lines, we see that there are early marriages and childbearing. And this again takes priority. For a woman, marriage will take priority over education. And then they have limited mobility, restrictions on their freedom, and their substantial obstacles with regards to their freedom and mobility. And in Pakistan, religion is wrongfully used as a tool to limit women's freedom, when in fact it is these social cultural factors and norms that I just talked about which are perpetuated under the guise of religion. Coming to what we can do about these. So how do you start changing socio-cultural factors, these norms that have persisted and do persist in a lot of countries? So one way to do that is an effective communications campaign. So I'd like to share with you an exciting initiative that's being piloted in Punjab currently. And it's called the SMS Girl program, in which phone messages are sent to try to call more students to more female students to start using the online virtual learning, distance learning platforms. And the early results that are coming in from this are quite promising. And similarly, in other countries as well, we see that promising communication campaigns have played a very important role, especially now with the rampant use of social media. And then another very important thing, right? Representation. And we always talk about that. It's very important to see women in different roles and as role models, not just for women, but also for boys. So in our program, one thing that we do is called the Safir sessions, which we tell our schools to hold. What basically Safir means mentor. So in the form of mentor, they call women who are in many different professions to both boys and girls school, because it's important for boys to be used to seeing women in those positions so that they know that this is something that can be done, they're comfortable with it. And then women knowing that they have these options. And this is one way in which perceptions can be changed. When a woman comes in and tells them that I am an aeronautical engineer, I'm in computer science, things that are traditionally not associated with the roles that we have confined women to. This is one very important initiative, and we've been getting overwhelming feedback and just seeing girls in awe when they see some woman doing things they never thought were possible. And moving on, let's talk about some economic factors. As you know, Pakistan is a resource scarce country. Poverty is something that is rampant here. And if parents can afford to send only a few of their children to school, they prefer sending their sons. I've already talked about this, and this is fueled from those socio-cultural factors that we just discussed, right? Sons are seen as breadwinners. Women are supposed to be taking care of the household, or maximum, because we're an agricultural nation, women do help in the fields. But again, that is not something that they think they need education for, and hence the preference is given to the boy. Another factor is low education spending on the part of our government. Again, and also the resources, the very few resources or the budget that is allocated, it is not used efficiently. So to give you an example, the government spending as a percentage of GDP was around 1.7% of its GDP last year, and it's supposed to have fallen to 1.5% right now, which just goes to show how much of a priority education is and how much we're willing to, as a nation, spend on it. And this is way below the South Asian average. So what do we do with economic factors, right? One thing is we need to make sure that we increase our education spending. This is not easy. A lot of continuous advocacy is required for this, but there is no other way. You need to prioritize education in your budget in order to make substantial change. Another thing that has been very useful in Pakistan as well has been conditional cash transfers. So they have one example of this is within Punjab, the province that I work in. And to give you a bit of a backdrop, Punjab is the biggest province of Pakistan in terms of population and hence in terms of the number of school-age children. So in Punjab, there's a female stipend program which has been going on since 2003. And it says a lot that it's been going on for so long, and a lot of the subsequent governments have kept it going. So this program is focused on girls in grade 6 to 10, and they're given a certain amount of money. Their families are transferred a certain amount of money. And the conditions for that is that their daughters must attend school and their attendance must be 80%. And an independent evaluation, which was conducted 4 years after this program began, showed that girls' enrollment had increased significantly from 11 to 32%. So we know and we've seen that money is an important factor in whether or not girls go to school or not, and addressing it can help. But again, here I would say that upscaling such initiatives can be difficult in resource-scarce countries. Then we come to our last bit of factors, which are our institutional factors, which include infrastructure, quality, and I'm also going to be talking a bit about the kind of textbooks that students are being taught. So coming to infrastructure, one factor that is very important here is the fact that there is a shortage of elementary and secondary schools for girls. So there are a lot of primary schools across the country, but when it comes to elementary and secondary schools, they are less for both boys and girls, and then fewer for girls. Because of this, girls are unable to go to school. Now, we already see in our previous discussion that women have a problem of mobility. They have low mobility. They're restricted to their households. Parents are not comfortable sending them out in the first place. So now if they have to travel a long distance to go to a school that is really, really far away, parents would not be comfortable with that. And most parents, it's not that they end up making their daughters drop out, and it's not entirely ill-intentioned, right? They are concerned for the safety of their daughters, right? And they would not want their daughters having to walk very long distances to go to school. And another thing, again, when there's a lot of dropout when girls hit puberty, because schools do not have a lot of facilities, majority of schools. They don't have working toilets. They don't have menstrual hygiene management facilities, because of which girls are forced to drop out. So when it comes to infrastructure, firstly, it's important to make sure that there are facilities in school. MHM is something that goes without saying, no school should be without. And then when it comes to the shortage of schools, another initiative that we've been having in Punjab for the longest time now is afternoon schools. So what basically they do is that areas because we already discussed that primary schools, we have a lot of primary schools across the country. So what they do in the second half of the day, after the first half and everybody goes home, whoever's studying the primary school, in the second half, it's dedicated to teaching secondary or elementary classes to girls. So what we end up doing is using existing infrastructure in the second shift. We're providing schools for girls, ensuring that they don't have that problem of having to go very far. And finally, obviously, again, buses, transport is required for schools. Then we come to the quality. And the reason that I'm talking about is because with regards to quality, there is this question of whether schools are providing what they should. Are they giving students the skills to critically think? Are they promising upward mobility, independence? Do girls think there is value in them for them in going to school? So unfortunately, our schools are very heavily focused on rote learning. We teach students just with the intention to make them pass exams and not to think critically or to engage with the content, which basically ends up limiting their prospects. And teachers who are members of another thing that is a problem is that teachers who are also a part of this society end up being end up discriminating their students. So for example, when I talk to teachers and we're running a STEAM program, right, so I often hear them saying that it's fine, girls aren't good at maths anyways, or it's a girls' school, so we just have embroidery lessons. Why? Because when we ask them about extracurricular, they feel that that's the only suitable thing that a girl should pursue. So again, our program works to counter this. We want students to learn by doing. STEAM is basically focused on hands-on learning, making students understand, making students question, and we train teachers to facilitate this. And we also, in our trainings, try to counter these sort of limiting beliefs that the teachers have. And another very important barrier that we have is with textbooks. Now, since we're rote learning, this means that students are, without question, reading the textbooks and learning them end to end. Now, a study conducted in 2021 to understand the construction of gender and identity in English books revealed that these books show that men work in a variety of professions outside of the house, whereas women are limited to a couple of professions, for example, being a nurse or teaching. Those which are considered appropriate for women. Females are generally underrepresented when it comes to outdoor activities. They're shown as spectators and men are playing those games. Men are never shown doing domestic chores, but women are again and again shown doing that. And adjectives which are being used to describe men are things like heroic figure, and those for women are helpers, delicate, gentle. So our textbooks need to be more inclusive. In our own guides in our program and resources that we share, we make sure to show more women performing STEAM activities, more women in STEAM related roles that are traditionally not associated with women. Then I'm just going to conclude with this final observation that while going through some of the updated English textbooks, I did see that a chapter was dedicated to female role models. And this is a step in the right direction. However, this should be the norm, and the characters displayed and the scenarios discussed in the notebook or the textbook should integrate women in different roles throughout the notebook. We have this really interesting habit here in Pakistan. So when we talk about doctors, if it's a woman, we'll say lady doctor. And if it's a man, we'll just say doctor. So what we're essentially saying is that being a male doctor is the norm, so it's called doctor. And being a female doctor is an exception to the rule. Hence, it's portrayed as such, right? And that's why in these books, we need it to be integrated rather than having some separate chapter showing, women can also be role models, rather than showing women as role models. Yeah, so that's about it. Thank you really very much for listening, and I'm open to any questions that you might have. I hope that this comprehensive presentation might have covered some of the questions that you have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Areej, for highlighting all of the aspects when it comes to education and gender equality. Before we move on to the Q&A session, I would love Ms. Maheen Amjad to provide her insights or inputs into what Ms. Areej asked.
Thank you, Nurvita, and thank you, Miss Mitra and Miss Areej, for your input. And I truly put myself in that position while I was starting this NPO, and when I was not leading any NPO, but I was on ground working different philanthropic activities. I think the problems still remains with time, and we need to work towards now how we can make it smooth. The thing is, as Ms. Mitra has quoted, while leading and working among the powerful people, something is quite challenging. And the other way around is that when you have a culture mindset so much in depth in your root, it's very hard to actually mend things. So for some who are mending things with time, they are progressing. Those who are rigid, they are not mending themselves with time. They are there. And the one who wants to change, they are stuck in that time frame, in that mindset, and the growth you cannot see as per expected. While the project of Afghanistan, the chapter of Afghanistan, like my Miss Mitra said, that capacity building programs, I truly encourage her words. I truly do, because there are some things like the language. If you don't have, opportunity to understand that, when you know language, when you know um, technical skills, especially computer related skills, when you know exactly soft skills, you can create way for yourself to penetrate into that society, a virtual opportunity, remote opportunity, or any other ways where you can grow. So if you limit yourself, that would be a problem. So while doing such projects, especially in Afghanistan, I'm quoting Afghanistan right now, with the programs which is globally recognized CFR, we provided them level A1 to B2 for free. For past 3 years, we are doing that. And right now, we felt like for level A, we are having difficulty, so we have kept an instructor from Afghanistan, and she is actually teaching them from the basics level, and I can see some improvement with time. That's a good thing. Not only that, we are guiding them how to approach different university, how to write statements for yourself, how to improve your communication skills. These are the things you have to show them the way. The one who really want to change their lives, they will change their lives. For them, limitation is not an option. They want to see the direction, and we are providing that. And in this game, you cannot push everybody to exactly walk your way. So here I feel much disappointment. Not just sometimes I feel disappointment among my team members as well, because they put in 200% effort with their high spirit, but they don't see the response, they feel bad. So over here, I would like to share that I think you cannot make everybody understand, but those who understand can make them understand who are not understanding with time. So some people would like to follow, the success rather than be the success. When they see the success is there, they would like to follow that lead. And those who are understanding, who are understanding our direction, they're actually paving way to many, proving them that when they can put effort, they can move towards a success, towards quality of life, towards their dream, XYZ. You just need to just move out of your comfort zone and challenge yourself and be the lead. And talking about Pakistan, of course, the scenario is very different. I'm so proud of Afghanistan community. I'm so proud of them. They are very resilient, and the political dilemma with them, it's very unjust. And with time, we will see that Afghanistan, especially the female segment of Afghanistan, will be thriving. Note this word. They would be thriving in all around the world, not just in Afghanistan. When we talk about Pakistan, the scenario is very different. We have more pressure towards economical and social aspect. It's just a mindset. You can see two different people in Pakistan. One, they are progressing like anything. They are everywhere. You can see female doing exceptional job. They are leading in the male-dominated field. They are support system. And the other way around, you can see that, especially I can say that, in the rural area, I feel a lot of challenge is that they don't understand how important is the minimum requirement for life is the documentation. And for the school requirements, understand that in Pakistan, school system is for free. Government school system is for free, at least till metric, till 10th grade. But the minimum requirement, as a government, required is that to provide them the CNIC, their national identity card. And believe me, on ground, I'm working. There are many individuals, they don't have it. They don't care about it. They're not teaching their kids. Why? Because it's a hassle. They say, my kid is going and working towards skills development. What is skills development? Be a mechanic, working on a shop, working for home. They are happy with the minimum money they're getting at home, but they're not looking at the higher vision. That is how this education can change the entire root of their family. So here we are struggling a lot. So Pakistan is a completely different dynamic. Afghanistan has a completely different dynamic when it's come to education and struggle for females, especially for females. So, but the solution, I find a common ground. I don't know how many of you would agree with me. I truly believe that both of the society has only one thing in common: male dominancy. You like it or not. We need these males to pave our way, make other people understand. Not every male is someone who does not understand the equality and equity of birth. Please know that. My father, I'm like three sisters. I'm the elder one. We are more than son at home. Okay? I have seen many friends around me who are like brother and sisters, but they are equally, maybe sometimes the daughters are doing much more than their sons. Why? Because they have the confidence of home. So here we need your support. Be it brother, be it your friend, be your classmate. It's a many dynamics around the world. Please support other women. Please try to mend the talk where people try to degrade and laugh it out when it's come to female. Stop such conversation. We need to mend our ways from root one, that is communication. Because I feel like sometimes, even in a higher C-suited seats, I don't feel we are looked at as a respectable individuals, and they don't take our words seriously. Because in our society, we are not considered someone who as a decisive. Our words, our skills are considered next than how we take our lives. This is so weird. This is so unacceptable. Because female judgment, female is good because if she has a good reputation, she is leading her home good, then she's a good individual, then her skills comes. For a male, you never check such like this. You never say, oh, how he is at home, how he's leading his relationship, how he's taking care of his responsibility. We look at the number of experience and we respect their skills. No matter what you hear, we don't judge it. So this thing we need to change. We really do need to change. And it will start from our male segment. And we female are trying our best, but we need your hand as well to help us out over here. It's just not, one-man show. Trust me. So we need a lot of effort for that. So this is my experience. This is what I feel. And believe me, been to Europe, been to Africa, been to Middle East, you name it, been all around the world. And luckily we are having sessions with all around the world as well. But the root cause problem, anyhow, is the same. Let's try to have inclusive approach. Let's try to keep politics aside. What we have done in past mistake, we have put ourselves in that position which we shouldn't have to be in that position. That is, we never make our economy so strong enough, ourselves so self-sustained, so that no other people can make our ways difficult. We are doing the same thing from centuries to centuries. Read history. Now it's time where we can bring the whole community together from all around the world, borderless society, in which we are helping each other to self-sustain. Having capacity building program, having such peership in which you are trying to make other person financially sustainable in his or her life. This is the only solution I can see that. So when you are independent, you know where you stand, you can solve a lot of problems. Any more feedback or any more questions? Because this is my part. I really want to speak it that this is my part. So anybody else would like to add to this? I would love that. Miss Mitra and Miss Areej.
I'd just like to add a bit to that. So you see, am I audible? Okay, okay. The problem is that in our societies, men, whether we like it or not, have the upper hand, right? Whenever someone in power is being challenged and they start to feel insecure, they start to lash out a bit. When they start to feel that their power is being taken away from them. I feel that in Pakistan we see that a lot, right? So every Women's Day we have something called the Aurat March, which is just us celebrating Women's Day, doing our thing. And there is so much unnecessary pushback that we get, which honestly really shocked me because we're not asking for much, right? My idea is, what do we want? We just want to be able to do whatever we want to do. Why is that something that is so difficult for men to grasp, right? But then I also try to understand that quite naturally, when someone feels that their position is being threatened, they lash out in unexpected ways. So I think it's very interesting to try to maneuver keeping all of these things in mind. Although, yes, I agree, the onus should be now on men to bring about this change. I've heard from quite a lot. They love saying not all men. So those men who love saying this, I'd love to see them stand up and start to take on this.
Very well said, Areej. The problem is that why I believe male should help us women out over here is that I belong to the remotest area from Pakistan. It doesn't look like, right? But my father was the first one who who self-studied, and then he came to city, and then we were city born, okay? And when he can mold their daughters to someone like me, with his capacity, with his vision, with his shelter, with his support, and I believe many men out there can do that. Many men out there can do that. But Areej, my problem is that when I sit, I don't know, our family has happened to go outside and have a cup of tea. When I hear a conversation, I don't see seriousness in the conversation. But in my time, Areej, the conversation used to be very healthy, very supportive. Now everything is like very chaotic. We have no way, but we are just talking, laughing, and moving back. And our society, believe me, I've read one quote, but I don't know if I'm saying it right. It says that if you're not practicing, if you're not working on yourself, somebody is practicing like 10 times more on that particular thing. And I believe we are way behind because we are not practicing. Okay, and we will be on mercy on those people who would take us non-serious because we were not serious about our sustainability, our life. So here I really want to push, like, please, surrounding male, please kindly have a healthy conversation, because we women, we are tired of it. We really need a healthy conversation, else we don't need any kind of stupid input. As simple we can say that.
Yeah, Areej, I think her name. Yeah, she mentioned about the power that we were taking away from men. I was like, power? What power? Like, is it really, do you call it power when somebody is suppressing you, pushing you down? If they're calling this a power, that's a shame. Oh, completely a shame. Because like power is something that needs that capacity in you to hold, to push someone, to uplift someone, to give people rights, to treat them like human being. It's very easy to hit someone, to be angry and shouting. It's very easy. But giving a smile, love, talking to them in a like in a mature way, and understanding all of these, understanding about the world, about the today's life, about the different cultures, about understanding about the capacity of our girls. That's called power. That's called like a powerful person, because you are putting a lot of thinking on this. You understand a lot of things. You pull people, you encourage people. That's called power. Hitting a woman is power? Seriously? Belittling them a power? Seriously? That's a shame. And I would say that's not a power. That's a coward. Like coward people do that. So, and that the other thing I would like to have, I want to convey these messages for women out there. Let's stop being jealous. We did it for thousands of years. Let's lift each other. Let's support each other, please. And I came across so many women in the United Nations. They pulled me. They were trying to pull me down. And I was like, oh, really? Let's not do that. And they're the managers. And I'm so sorry to say that. This is the sad thing in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, in many Middle East countries. Let's not do that, please. Thank you. Over.
Thank you, Mitra. Yes, it's my experience as well. But somehow, after 10 mishaps, you can see like 1% they are there, we're truly supporting other women. That's true, Mitra. Very valuable input. Thank you, Ms. Areej. Very valuable input. I think we have few questions, and after that we would like to wrap up. We took a lot of time. Noor Bete, if you can read the questions from the chat box, or should I? Okay, let me read some of them for you. Yes, Noor Bete, you're audible now. Betur, I can read, okay? Let me read one question. Okay, so we have a general question that what role can community leaders
implement projects led by women and implemented by women? Also, how much important it is to bring this project all across the provinces to decrease the disparities within the provinces and among the provinces, and how much important it is to continue it after the regime changes in Pakistan, because we do not have policy or program continuation when the government.
Can you just say the first part of your question again? I just, sorry, my internet.
What are the challenges to be faced by a woman as like you, that is providing technical assistance for huge programs like STEAM Pakistan? What are the challenges to come up with such an initiative and implement that on ground?
As I think Maheen also mentioned, a lot of times there's this prevalent mindset in Pakistani society where a girl speaks and she's not taken that seriously. Quite a lot of that happens, but I think when you're determined to get what you want done, then you just ignore it and move on. Because the project is bigger than how any one man or person is treating me. So yeah, I think you get used to it, but you know that if you power through, the kind of impact that you can make is so much more than this one person. Then you just try not to make it about them. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. I think it's also because ever since I've started working, I've been working with the government. So I've grown pretty comfortable with it. It's all I've known. I don't know how corporate work is different than this. But yeah, I think I'm pretty used to the culture by now, and they're also pretty used to having me around. Again, being in such spaces and making that space for yourself is important. So that for the next woman that comes after you, it's easier. And then eventually we have more women who are comfortably in these spaces, doing what needs to be done. Is there any other questions?
I think we have a general question over here. Okay, what measures are needed to ensure equal education opportunities for females in Afghanistan and Pakistan?
Wow, that is pretty
That's
general.
yeah.
Everything basically that I covered in my presentation and much more. But as you said, I think the biggest hurdle will always be our socio-cultural norms,
Yes.
the patriarchal mindset of our society. And it's a mindset, which means that it's not held just by men. Women also feel that, okay, men should be the breadwinners and women should be at home. So that's a pretty big number of people whose mindset we have to change slowly. And a lot of things can be done. I think, again, very, very important representation. Representation matters the most. The more they see, the more comfortable they will be with the idea. I think all other things fall behind that. But as long as there's representation and then a lot of community outreach, which I also talked about in my presentation, you should take the community on board, call them into the schools, parents. A lot of parents are not engaged in public schools in Pakistan. To actively engage them, to show them everything that their child is getting out of the school, so that their ideas of education are just not limited to the economic value that they can bring, but also they see all the other value that education has for their child. That's another thing. Partnerships, corporate partnerships, with universities, bringing them into the schools, working with the community again, can also play a very, very important role. So I think it's not one intervention or one thing that we change, and it has to be an effort from everyone in the community. Everyone should be willing to bring this, and you guys can add to this.
Ms. Mitra, would you like to add for Afghanistan?
Sorry, I wasn't muted. Had a hard time to unmute myself. Would you mind if you repeat the question, if that's okay?
All right. Okay, I have to read that again. I'm not good with the. Okay, what measures are needed to ensure equal educational opportunities for females in Afghanistan and Pakistan?
Well, Pakistan is different now. In Afghanistan, it's completely a different it's a different story. So it's really hard for me right now to say anything that the girls percentage going to school compared to the boys are really low, and they need to take these steps to make it better. We are completely not in that stage right now. It's completely a different story. So what I said before is we need to raise our voice, and the organizations like yours can make a huge difference. Yeah, I can't really further.
Thank you, Mitra. But I really believe one thing for Afghanistan is a huge opportunity to learn skills remotely. So probably if we can come up with some skills program related to not just how to communicate, how to grab scholarship, but also how they can find ways towards product and services through which they can earn. I think we can mend these ways for the females. I think it will help them. That's what I believe in. Let's see how it goes. So any closing remarks, because we are winding up in 2 minutes?
Thank you very much for organizing this. It's really great to come and have these platforms and talk about these hot topics. Especially for us, it's very hot, but I don't know how the world takes it. But it's great to at least come and talk about it. So thank you for doing the great work.
Thank you, Mitra, for joining us. We will definitely stay in touch. Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me here, and very happy to know that you're from Pakistan. I did not know that. So it's great to see women from Pakistan doing great things like this. It's not something that we have gotten used to enough. Although so many women are doing a lot of great work in Pakistan, I think it's time for people like me, I guess, comes to us to start to highlight this in schools, and so that our kids can aspire to be like all these great women. And very nice to meet Mitra, and point well noted about the power. Was just trying to get my point across, but completely agree. And yes, hope things get better for Afghanistan and Pakistan in the future. And hope that we all can play our part in it.
Yeah, no, Areej, you were completely right about the power. That's what they are considering power in that country. That definition you say, that's exactly what everybody understands there. But what I said was like, that's not a power, right? And actually, that's not a power. But what you said is completely true in that country. So in reality, that should not be the same. Men should not think that that's a power, right? Suppressing women should not be a power. That's what I meant. So yeah, hope you didn't misunderstand.
Agreed. And it's for us, in those of us in education, to change that definition.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Areej. Lovely knowing you. I will definitely stay in touch with you as well. And I feel really proud when I represent my country, but it makes me even more prouder when people across different diverse, network, they trust on this platform. So thank you very much for joining in. Thank you very much for trusting. And everybody, I'm sure for capacity building, we are joining with Ms. Areej and Ms. Mitra in future. So thank you very much for joining in, and